muss ich schon mal einstimmen auf Englisch. Ich bin sehr gespannt. Bist du auch so ein bisschen nervös, Anja?
Immer, wenn ich Englisch reden muss und mir andere Leute tendenziell dabei zuhören, was leider dann immer der Fall ist, wenn ich Englisch reden muss.
Ja,
Ist halt einfach
tatsächlich.
nicht die Standardsprache, ne?
Ja, also ich bin jetzt gespannt, also für alle, die es nicht mitbekommen haben, wir haben eine Gästin im Hintergrund, die englischsprachig ist und wir wagen uns heute in neue Gefilde und werden unseren
Ja.
ersten englischsprachigen Geek Girls Cast haben. Ich nehme es
Seid
immer gerne mit
liebevoll zu
als
uns.
Übung. Genau, bitte nicht so hart in den Kommentaren mit uns. Wir versuchen unser Bestes. Wir hatten ja schon ein kurzes Gespräch mit Sally im Hintergrund. Das hat, finde ich, ganz gut funktioniert.
Ja, es geht, wenn
Ähm,
man so ein bisschen drin ist, dann geht es, aber
ja,
der Switch ist
ich bin
hart.
jetzt gespannt, wenn uns jetzt eine Woche Amerika bevorsteht, dann werden wir ja richtig
Stimmt.
gute Native Speaker, werden, wenn wir nur noch Englisch sprechen. Ich freue mich vor allem, es ist heute ein Thema, wo ich keinen Peil habe. Fabric war immer ein ganz anderen Gefilde gefühlt. Also ganz spannendes Thema, aber hatte ich noch kaum Berührungspunkte. Deshalb freue ich mich umso mehr, dass wir heute, glaube ich, ganz, ganz viel lernen können von Sally. Ich sehe auch schon die ersten Kommentare. Hallo Stefan. Guten Morgen oder so. Ich weiß gar nicht, wo er unterwegs ist. Bei mir ist es guten Abend.
Noch sind wir nicht in der USA. Wir fliegen am Freitag und am Samstag. Das vielleicht zur Erklärung, weil das ist die MVP Summit. Das sollten wir vielleicht ganz kurz
Ja, das
einordnen.
Highlight als des
Ja,
MVPs. Es
über
werden
das wir nicht
schon,
reden dürfen.
also ich glaube, was ich droppen darf, der Swag ist hot. Und ich glaube, jeder campt gefühlt bei Microsoft, damit er noch was vom Merch abbekommt. Ich bin sehr gespannt auf die Sessions. Und dann würde ich sagen, spannen wir die Leute nicht länger auf die Folter und
Gerne.
switchen to English and say hello to Sally.
Hello, Sally.
Hello,
Welcome.
everyone. Thank you for joining my session.
We are very curious about the next hour, about what we can learn from you. And first of all, because I think the audience know Anya and me, so please, Sally, introduce yourself, who you are, where you come from, and what is your
Um,
favorite topic.
I have a dedicated slide about myself, but I'll just do it now. My name is Sally. I'm a data engineer at Microsoft. I'm from Israel. I'm a mother for two awesome kids. And I talk mainly, I'm also Microsoft ambassador. I talk mainly about Microsoft Fabric, Synapse, and ADF.
Very deep tech topics.
Yeah, heavy ones.
So we are not into fabric, so please choose nice words that we can understand, not also the language. So
How
also,
do you did you start with fabrics? Was it
yes,
always a topic that you are interested in, or did you see something about fabric and thought, okay, this is what a topic I want to jump in? What
It
was your
was
way?
part it was part of my job to learn it. And I
well, you
think my
have to.
team, yeah, and my team was the earliest team who got onboarded in Fabric. So we started to grow together with the product. So I think it all started because of my job role.
So you are really early adopter for fabric and
I'm
know
a Fabric
everything
lover.
around.
I'm a
I
Fabric
never
lover.
remember. Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, as always, we have a hard question. So I have to switch
Oh,
to
so if
my
we start
notes.
with the annoyed nerve question, maybe?
Yeah, please, Anya. What is
Oh, I have to look it up.
You
Uh,
can start. In meantime, I can scroll to my notes.
so
Professional as always.
the nerve question is always about don't answer them really, only give us a clue. Why is it annoying for you to be asked that? So, and we asked you in front of our call about your question, and you answer it is Comparing Azure technology with other technologies outside of
Right.
Microsoft. So why is it hard to be asked that?
Because I'm not familiar with other technologies, and like you need a person who knows like both technologies to give you the right answer. And I specialize in Azure technologies, so I don't think I'm the right person to ask.
Yeah, I think
Do
it's
you get often this question as a Microsoft
I,
employee?
almost in every conference.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like they ask me, what do you think about GCP or AWS S3? How do you compare it to ADLS? And
Please
sometimes I don't
not.
know how to answer that.
yeah, it's hard to be to find a specialist in both technologies so that you can really have
A good insight, yes.
Comparison,
yes,
yeah,
yeah,
general comparison, yes. And I think every company leader wants to know, okay, what's the best technology for me, and wants to find someone who is specialist in both and can explain, okay, what's the best for me for pricing and something else. But yeah, I
Um,
understand you because I'm also very Microsoft focused in my technologies, and I cannot answer anything about Google technologies or Apple or something else. Yeah,
nothing. I
mhm.
it's it's also hard to be in more than one topic into Microsoft. So I'm for
yeah,
Teams and SharePoint, and I'm hoping I do well with this topics. But it's hard to have two topics. So
yeah.
to have two topics from different companies, it must be even harder. So maybe there's someone outside of this live stream, but not here.
But what's much easier to answer is your hard question, I think. And what your hard question was about, yeah, fabric.
Surprise.
Surprise. And it was exactly why to adopt Fabric. What is the biggest advantage of using Fabric over Synapse Analytics? What is the added value? I don't know if you explain it later in your presentation or you can
I will,
answer
but
it
I'll give
now.
them a clue. Our buzzwords: one lake, one copy.
So
Okay.
maybe it's a good thing to explain what is Fabric. Maybe not everybody knows
Is it
about Fabric.
possible to explain it in a few sentences?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a slides about Fabric, but I can explain what is it. It's a SaaS product, which means like it's managed by Microsoft. It manages the integrations and so on. It's analytical tool that it has so many of Azure technologies under one umbrella. So you can do like data engineering, you can do AI, you can do ML, you can do Power BI. So everything is seamlessly integrated, and it has so many. Features like one security for all the different experiences, one lake for every data store that you put in Microsoft Fabric. So it's basically similar to Synapse Analytics, but it covers more Azure technologies. So they basically integrate it, they integrated so many things in Azure under one umbrella. This is
Hmm.
the finest description that I found. Um,
What what do you recommend other persons if they want to start with the topic fabric and want to go deeper into fabric? Which skill or which topic in the fabric universum do you recommend people who are really at the beginning of the fabric journey?
So because I'm a data engineer and I focus on analytics, so I'm not really familiar with other integrated experiences in Fabric. Sorry, can you hear my daughter? She's crying.
A little bit,
A little bit.
but it's okay,
One
it's
minute. Give
fine.
me give me 1 minute.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Oh no.
Always be quiet.
Yeah, she okay, I'll continue. So
It's hard to say a little person to be quiet,
oh,
I
it's
think.
7 p.m. my time, so she's still awake, unfortunately. Um, wait. I forgot what I was saying.
Recommendations for
Yeah,
starting.
For
so
starting
I
with.
can recommend in data pipelines, I would recommend to start from tutorials. We have like in Microsoft Docs so many short tutorials, like quick start, and then you can like get the hang of it. And follow people who invest their time in Microsoft Fabric. Like I know, for example, like I specialize in data pipelines, ETLs, but I know, for example, Svea, she's specialized in real-time intelligence. So it depends on what is your use case. If your use case is
Mm.
ETLs, then follow the right people on LinkedIn because they write so many blogs. And check also the DP 700. It's like the course for, it's the certification for Microsoft Fabric in Azure. And I think the documentation is the source of truth. And we have like
Yeah,
monthly updates, and we have like conferences for huge updates, like the FabCon and the Ignite. They announced like big features in Fabric.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's always
but
the Ignite with big updates.
yeah, but
in the
start with the
build.
quick start. I think if they will start with the quick start, it will be like the best choice for beginners. Yeah, that's it.
Do you
I knew you're
recommend you
thinking
have
about something.
Ah, first you, Sabrina.
No, no, I don't want to interrupt you because you had the thinking phase. So I didn't
Uh,
want to interrupt you.
uh, I want to ask, do you recommend some special skills to start with Fabric? To have
um,
maybe knowledge
Data
about the Power
analyst skills,
Platform
I
or
think.
like Azure knowledge in general. And again, I can only talk about Synapse data engineering skills. So let's imagine you have like a data engineering scenario. So maybe you should start with data factory essentials, like what is data factory pipelines, or what is data flows gen 2, and like major concepts in data engineering world. And then you can like do the shift to Fabric. So I think everyone who knows Synapse or Data Factory can just build ETL pipelines in Microsoft Fabric. It has like new concepts, but not something like unfamiliar at all with the Azure universe.
so maybe a more personal question at this point. So, how was your way to become a data engineer by yourself?
It's a tricky question because every company defines data engineer differently. Like
Yes.
I joined Microsoft 3 years ago, but I was a data engineer since 5 years ago. So I specialized 2 years in open source technologies, and then I moved to the Azure universe. And I think I started first as a backend engineer, and then I did the shift to like technologies like S3, Amazon S3, and Airflow, and so on. And then I moved to Microsoft, and I started to build my path in Azure.
Ah,
But I started as a backend developer. This is my
Okay.
first job.
Can
yeah.
you, before we start deeper in your presentation, can you tell the audience about a very special project that you built with Fabric, or or your favorite project that you have
Um,
with a customer or something?
Yes, so my favorite project was with a customer. I'm not gonna say his name; it's under NDA. But yeah, but we built like two scenarios for low volume ingestion and high volume ingestion. We put like priority for workloads, and we divided the work into domain and to workspaces. And I have a slide that is similar to what we did. It's like separate domains, and for every domain, we built like medallion architecture. So in total we had like 12 lake houses, so many notebooks, and it was like integrated beautifully into the diagram, the architecture that I led with this customer. And it was a success because he went like in production with Fabric. I
Okay,
can't
I think
expose more
I
Sounds
think we
information.
are
complex.
ready to start. It sounds very complex for me,
Yes.
but I'm very curious to learn more about this topic. So
I will explain it in a slide. I have a dedicated slide for
perfect.
Yes.
complex scenario.
So maybe it's a good
Okay,
point to
so I
start with
think,
the slide.
Sally, the stage is yours, and
Okay,
we
thank
can
you.
see
And we
your
will interrupt you at
presentation.
any time to ask more questions.
Okay, okay. Feel free to do that. So hello everyone. My name is Sally. As I said, I'm a data engineer in Microsoft. I'm also Microsoft ambassador. I talk in conferences mainly about Microsoft Fabric, Synapse in Azure Synapse Analytics, and Azure Data Factory. And let's get started. So I'm gonna talk about Medallion architecture overview because this is like the main pattern that we use to build ETLs. So what is Medallion architecture? Medallion architecture is designed to logically organize data. It's similar to traditional data warehouses. It clarifies roles and processes across data layers. We have here 3 layers, but it's not a fixed number. We can have 4 or even 5. It depends on the business need, and it enhances data accessibility and governance. Microsoft recommendation is to use separate workspaces, one workspace per each layer to enhance security and governance. So the bronze layer, which is like the row layer, it preserves the original state of the structure as is. So we don't do any transformations on the data. Data remains immutable. It utilizes delivery-based partition tables such as partitioning by year, month, and day. And you can see that even in the sample dataset that Microsoft provides. It primarily employs Parquet or Delta formats with occasional use of other format. And it can consist of mix of streaming and batch transactions. The silver layer, which is the filtered, cleaned layer, it employs data quality rules for validation. Um, it also utilizes an efficient storage format such as Delta tables. It includes versioning for rollback capabilities, and it manages missing or error in the data and often enriched with reference data. And data scientists or other analytical teams in your organization can build upon this data. So you can like give access to specific people to just use this data for their work. Now the gold data, which is like the business level aggregated data, it's consumer ready and user friendly data. It's highly governed and well documented information, and it integrates of complex business rules, including calculations and enrichments. For example, you can add date granularity, you can add metadata that it doesn't exist in your data, in your original data, and just enrich your gold data and visualize it in Power BI. So I'm gonna skip these slides. Why we should use medallion pattern. Medallion architecture streamlines data process and promotes scalability and data integrity. By decoupling storage from compute, it allows for efficient data handling and improved performance across organization. We have limitations in high performance scenario. For example, while medallion architecture offers many advantages, it may fall short in environments demanding high rate performance or strong data integrity. And these limitations should be assessed against organizational needs when design data systems. Now, let's talk about One Lake, which is like my favorite part in Microsoft Fabric. One Lake, it comes with every tenant. We have exactly one lake per tenant. We can't have 2 or 0. And it's a logical data lake. It's built over the architecture of ADList Gen 2 and can support any type of files, structured or unstructured. We will talk about this in a bit. And all Fabric data items like data warehouses and lakehouses store their data automatically in one lake in Delta Parquet format. So it doesn't matter if you save your data as a CSV or any type of file format. In the infrastructure, it will be Delta Parquet format. If a data engineer loads data in a lakehouse using Spark, and then a SQL developer uses T-SQL to load data in a fully transactional data warehouse, both are contributing to the same data lake. One lake stores all tabular data in Delta Parquet format, so you can consider it as like the OneDrive of your data. So the biggest
That's a
question
good
that
picture. Thank you for that.
yeah, so the biggest question that, oh, I'm sorry, we can also divide, I forgot to say that. We can divide by workloads. Like, for example, We can use Fabric workloads in a workspace, and we can divide the workspace into different type of data. And in another workspace, we can use the DFS API. Every item in one lake, it has a DFS API, and it can be exposed to more technologies. Now, the biggest question is a lakehouse the only data store for Medallion architecture? The answer is no. It depends on the team skills. Sometimes I see customers who struggle with Spark and they prefer T-SQL to do transformations and query data. So you don't have to use a lakehouse. You can also use a warehouse. It has the same performance even with large data sets. Now, shortcuts in Fabric. This is also one of the most like beautiful things that it was announced in One Lake. It has shortcuts in Fabric enables seamless access to your data, no matter where it is stored, without requiring migration into Fabric. And this approach ensures a single copy of the data, a concept known as one copy. The data is accessed as virtual files, but it's stored in Parquet format. It's treated as virtual table for querying. Delta table serves as the primary data format in One Lake. And again, because it's a single copy of the data, if your data is sitting in AWS, it doesn't physically move to Azure. It will stay like in AWS. So you don't really have to copy your data. So this is a screenshot that I took from Microsoft Fabric Workspace. This is a lake house. We have two sections. We have tables and files. Tables, which holds like the delta tables, and files, it holds the unstructured data. I saw so many customers that use files for as a landing zone. So before they start with the medallion, the three layers, they store their data under files, and then they normalize all data into delta tables and start with the medallion pattern. So the difference between tables and files is that files is the unmanaged area and tables is a managed area. That means if we add a table or delete a table, we have a process in the backend that identifies changes under tables, but we don't have that under files. And if you look closely, we have like the shortcut icon. That means that this table, transactions, it was added as a shortcut to one link.
So maybe I have a beginner question for this topic. So what is the difference between lake house and warehouse? Is there a short description? What is what?
Warehouse is built over the SQL. It's like the SQL engines that we know. It's like Postgres and so on. But warehouse in Fabric, it's built over the architecture of ADLS Gen 2. So you can see like tables. It's like SQL tables, but in the infrastructure, it's built over ADLS Gen 2. Lakehouse is similar to ADLS Gen 2, Azure Data Lake Gen 2, and you can store any type of file format that you want. So
Yeah.
warehouse is more for structured data.
Hmm. Okay,
But
thank you.
again, it doesn't have to be. You can also use tables for like delta files and build whatever you want here. You don't have to use data warehouse. And I'm gonna talk also about a huge advantage in Fabric, because I'm gonna talk about this in the demo. We have a SQL endpoint for every lakehouse. So even if you store your data as a lakehouse in Fabric, you can, if your team or I don't know, data scientists prefer to use SQL, they can use the SQL endpoint.
Okay, thank you. That helped me.
Welcome. So another big thing that you can do with OneLake that people normally don't talk about, I don't know why, is access OneLake in File Explorer. OneLake is similar, as I said, to OneDrive. You can access OneLake in File Explorer. You can access data from different cloud provider with OneLake in your File Explorer. So imagine you have data in S3 and it was added as a shortcut to OneLake. You can still view it here in File Explorer, and I think this is a huge advantage also for One Lake data. So this is an architecture of how it should be how Medallion architecture should look like in Microsoft Fabric, but we can do different things. Like in the ingest, you can use different technologies. You don't have to use Data Factory, but this is the, let me say, the most common architecture for Medallion pattern. We have so many data sources. We have landing area, which is a temporary storage location. And then we start with the fabric. We ingest using copy activity. And we have the three layers: bronze, silver, gold. And we process layers between every layer, like from bronze to silver. We use the Synapse engineering capabilities, such as notebooks or Spark jobs and so on. We can see that in a bit. And we enrich the silver and we save in the gold. And the gold data, as I said, it's the consumer based data that you can visualize it in Power BI and other tools. So let's talk more about orchestration. So how can I move data in Fabric? We can move data via Fabric Data Factory, which is basically similar to Azure Data Factory. It has so many connectors, over 200 connectors. You can connect to your data source and define destination in one lake and just copy the data. It's good for big amount of data, big data. If we are talking about terabytes and so on, it's recommended to use Fabric Data Factory. If the connector is there, it's supported. And I really like it because we can perform multiple copy activities in parallel. So it's really efficient. Another type of movement orchestrating that we can use is basically, sorry, not orchestrating, ingestion. We can use is Data Flows Gen2. It's built over the architecture of Power BI, and it's more suitable for citizen developers because it has like drag and drop mechanism, and we usually use Data Flows Gen2 for minimum transformations while we are moving data, and for smaller data sets if we are talking about gigabytes. Now, the third option, which is like the newest option, is Apache Airflow Job. It's still in public preview. It's not GA yet, but we are expecting to be GA soon. I can't remember the exact date, but here you can orchestrate the orchestrator, which is Data Factory. You can build like DAGs, and then you can call Fabric Data Factory pipelines, and just you will have more flexible definition of your DAG. And the advantage here is for developers who prefer to dynamically do things without dealing with templates like in Data Factory. And I have a dedicated session about Airflow jobs in Fabric. We can talk about this in a different time. But again, it's still in public preview. It's not GA. One minute.
Sorry, my camera has a failure here.
Do you have a question?
No, my camera wasn't working.
Mm.
So she's
So
back online.
yeah, so this
Sorry
is
for
the
interrupting you.
architecture. All good. So this is the architecture that I talked about for different domains for a huge customer. We have like so many domains, like 4 domains. In each domain, we built like a medallion architecture, and each layer it was in a different workspace. And then we ingested data via Data Factory if the connector is there. And then we used notebooks to transform data from one layer to another. And it has different usages. Like for gold layer here, we built a data set, and it was like the raw data for a different use case. And we have reports, we have ML experiments, we have open AI usage, and so on. So this is how your architecture should look like if you have multiple domains. So to access data, as I said, the recommendation is to have separate workspaces, one workspace per each layer. And we have a concept called one security. So you can control the security in Fabric by granting access at the workspace level or at the item level. You can easily manage security in the workspace and data in associated to a workspace by assigning users to workspace roles. So we have different roles. We have admin, member, contributor, which has full access, and we have the viewer who can only read SQL endpoints in a Lakehouse, or view Power BI reports or data sets, assigning permissions directly to Fabric items like warehouses or lakehouses to grant access for an individual Fabric item without granting access to the entire workspace. And this is really like useful. Do you have questions before I go into the workspace in Fabric?
I think we can give the audience a minute to type in the questions. Sandra in the background, maybe you can uh,
Do you
give
want me to stop
the
sharing?
no. Valentin have or comment something. You already have the schedule inside pipeline.
I don't even know what he's meaning.
What
Yeah,
this mean? Maybe you can.
we can schedule the pipelines in Data Factory. Like we can like schedule whenever we want, and especially if we are talking about batch processing. But I was talking about different types of ingestion data. We have like Data Flows Gen2, which is built over Power BI for citizen developers who likes more UI based and minimum transformation to the data. And we have also Apache job, which can orchestrate the orchestrator. This is a huge advantage of Apache job, and we can like talk about this even offline. So Apache job is there for giving more flexible and extension libraries and so on to the developers. But of course, the main tool for orchestration is Data Factory in Fabric. And even in Azure, like in total, like we use Azure's Data Factory as the main orchestrator. Hope I
Okay.
answered your question.
Valentin, if you want to add something, feel free to comment it. But I think no other questions from the audience. Maybe they are also overwhelmed as me for all the new topics, but very, very interesting. So
Thank you.
yeah, I'm really looking forward for your uh,
Thank you. So
continue.
thank you so much. So let's proceed. Today I'm running on F2 capacity, so I'm really limited. I can't create a few features in Fabric that I wanted to include in my demo. So I'm just gonna walk you through the main concepts of Medallion and Fabric. I created a workspace, Geek Girl event, and then if when I click on add, you can click on task flow. Okay, task flow is basically data mesh that you can just select. It's a pre-designed like and recommended tasks to be. It's based on a business use case. You can just click on it and select, and it will select the main like tasks that you need to do based on a specific business use case. So instead, I have also created a GitHub repo that I think Sabrina can share in a bit, step-by-step guide how to build Medallion from scratch. I created a lake house, bronze. In the silver, I created a warehouse just to see the difference. And in gold, I created a lake house. And in Fabric, every lake house comes with two endpoints automatically. It comes with semantic model and SQL analytics endpoint. I ingested data with this pipeline. I used sample data. Let's see it. So copy data from sample data. The source is New York taxi data and the destination is bronze. I copied it into files, but you can choose also tables, delta tables. It depends on if you want to land the data first in the files section and then start the Medallion architecture. And when I click on bronze, I can see that my files, it copied the New York taxi data, and it's partitioned by year, month, and day. Now, I created also a notebook to build delta tables. So I ingested data under files, and then I saved the data as delta format using Synapse notebooks in Fabric. So here you can play with the environment and so on, and it's really quick. I read the parquet from 2008. It was really specific, but you can read all files. And then I wrote it as delta under a table called New York City data. So if I click on bronze, I can see the icon, okay, for delta tables. This is point A. Point B, and the silver layer. 1 minute. I created a warehouse. Okay, and by the way, almost every feature in Fabric, it supports Copilot, and you can just use the AI skills.
Yay.
But
Copilot.
yeah, and again, because I'm running on the lowest capacity, I can't create it, but it's really cool. Even in notebooks, you can write chat and just chat with Copilot. It will give you like cool things.
I
And
think we
under
have a big question from Valentin before you continue with the other topic. I saw you have 3 lakehouses per domain and 1 workspace per domain. After was the recommendation to have 1 workspace per layer. This means if I take, like example, the marketing domain, I should have 3 workspaces, 1 per layer.
So yeah, I understand the confusion. Yes, the recommendation is to have separate workspace per each layer. Now, to simplify the diagram, I didn't put a frame into the lake houses. So if I go back, 1 minute. So here at first of all, it depends on your data volume. Okay, it depends on your use case, how many people are working on the Medallion ETL, and but Microsoft recommendation is to have 1 workspace per each layer to enhance security, to control more of the security at the workspace level, not only on the item level. Like I can do everything under 1 workspace, and in my demo, it's under 1 workspace to simplify things. But when we are talking about production work, the recommendation is to have different workspaces, and at the moment to add shortcut. Like if I need to access bronze in silver, I will add it as a shortcut because I'm not and we can see that in a bit. Okay, but the recommendation is to have 3 workspaces. So in every domain I will have 3 workspaces.
Okay, thanks for the explanation.
Okay, so in my silver, as I said, I created a warehouse which is similar to traditional SQL warehouses. And now I have I'm in the silver, but I created a table out of the bronze. And of course, we can like have transformations, we can clean the data and so on. But I didn't do that, just to simplify the demo. And here I can see my data, fact trip table. It will take like a few seconds to load. Okay, now if I go back to my workspace, in the gold layer, I created it as a lake house. I added my silver data as a shortcut, which means I didn't really copy the data from silver to gold. I only added a shortcut. Okay, and you can see like the shortcut icon here. 1 minute, I'm sorry. And I wanted to to enrich the data and create a new table out of it and save it in the gold. But again, I'm running on the lowest capacity today, so I'm quite limited. But when you want to enrich data, you just add it as a shortcut and you add more like date granularity or whatever metadata that you want to enrich, and then you should have like a new table. So another thing that I wanted to show is that in the bronze layer, you can create a new semantic model, like this new semantic model, and create, when you click on the 3 dots, you can create auto create report, and it should build a report by default based on your data. This is like a cool way to visualize your data when you are implementing Medallion architecture. Should take a minute. So it read my data. It's not really organized data. It's not like something with transactional value. So this is why it's not beautiful, but it built automatically a report for me. Now, I just want to show you one more thing. In the gold data, you can, of course, in the data mesh, you can like assign items and it will be assigned directly to the item. Now you can have also AI skills. It's built on the technology of Copilot. You can just ask it things about insights about your data in your language, and it will transform it into a SQL query and send you the results. It's really cool. And I think that's it for Medallion. If you have any questions, oh, before we finish, Sabrina will send a link step-by-step guide on how to implement Medallion using Microsoft Fabric. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me right now or on LinkedIn.
Did you share the link to me?
1 minute.
Or did I lost it?
We
This
do
I'm
it
is
right
sorry. I'm
almost
now.
sorry to
impossible that
Sandra.
I
To
lost it.
Sandra. I sent it to Sandra. So this is public, like you can access this link. We have steps on how to build Medallion architecture. We have also in Microsoft documentation a step-by-step guide, how to create bronze and so on. Again, in the silver layer, I chose a warehouse just to show the reader that it's possible and you don't have to create lake houses in the 3 layers. And that's it from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'll send the
Thank you
link.
very,
Sorry,
very
I
much.
meant
No
Sandra.
problem.
Yeah, we can share the link.
Sandra also shared the link.
I
Yeah,
Perfect.
sent it
perfect.
in the private chat.
Yeah, and I think
Yes,
you
Sandra
can
sent
share
it.
it
Thank you,
in
Sandra.
the comment section of this event, maybe. Then
Mhm.
everybody can see it.
Okay, a big, big thank you to your insights today and to your explanations of Fabric and Medallion. It was very interesting for me as a complete Fabric dummy. I'm
Thank you so
always
much.
happy to learn new things, and to the audience, I highly recommend to attend the sessions from Sally. On which session will you, or which on which conference
Conference. Yeah.
are you in the
I'm
near
coming
future?
to Athens at May and to another conference that I'm not allowed to say the name at June. Uh, but yeah, I'm expected to come
Is
to
it a
Athens.
public conference or is it a
Yeah, it's
secret
public,
conference?
but they didn't announce the speakers yet, so I
Ah,
can't say the
okay.
name of the
Okay.
conference. But yeah, I'm
So
coming to Athens at May. Join
so
me.
it is recommended to follow Sally's LinkedIn.
Thank you so
It
much.
is linked to the invitation, so follow her to be updated on which sessions she will be. And I think we have another
Yes,
question from Valentine.
we have.
Uh, the best practice will be to have bronze and silver lake houses, and gold will be warehouse.
This is not accurate. Again, it depends on the use case. I had customers who used lake houses in all 3 layers, or sometimes have the silver as a warehouse. It depends on your team skills. And as I said as I showed in my demo, every lake house has a SQL endpoint. So even if you didn't store your data as a warehouse, you still have the SQL endpoint. So you can use like T-SQL to query your data. So it's a bit different than Synapse. I see some people got a confusion because of it, because in Synapse we have like the SQL pool and so on. But it doesn't have to be like that in Fabric. Again, it's because of the advantage of the SQL endpoint under the Lakehouse. It comes automatically when you create your Lakehouse. But yeah, you can also store it as a warehouse if this is what you prefer, or what your if it's what your team prefer to save the data. Um, but it's not like a rule.
Are you fine with this answer, Valentine, or do you have follow-up
Or
We
questions?
can't hear the
yeah,
audience, right?
do you have more questions?
More questions? I
Ping
think
me.
he will start with a Fabric project after this session.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for having me. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed it, and I
We
appreciate the
also
opportunity.
enjoyed it very
Thank
well.
you.
So coming slowly to an end. Oh, another question.
Yes.
Is it possible to create shortcuts between the lake house and warehouse for the data tables?
This is what I did. I created a shortcut from no, I created the I created the shortcut from silver to gold. The silver was a warehouse, and I created the table in the gold. Sorry, I'll reshare my screen. Um, 1 minute.
Sandra had to put this real screen up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Um, so I have in the silver, you can see the type. Can you see my screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in the silver, it's a warehouse. I have a factory table. And in the gold, it's a lake house. And when I click on gold, I can see the icon of a shortcut. Okay, this is stored in the silver warehouse, but it was added as a shortcut in the lake house. So it is possible. And this is basically the advantage of this feature, that you don't really physically move the data. It doesn't have to be like a lake house, or even if it's from a second cloud provider or a different cloud provider like AWS or GCP or whatever. You can just add a shortcut, so it doesn't have to be the same type format. Again, this is like the power of one lake. Hope it's clear.
Okay.
It's also possible. I like lake houses.
We can hear it, yes. But I think it's a very huge topic, and you have a lot to learn if you want to go deep into the topic from
Yeah,
warehouse and
we
lake
have.
house.
Yes, sorry for interrupting. I just remembered we have decision for data store in Fabric. I'll share the link in a bit. It's basically how to choose. Uh, it's a decision guide how to choose your data store. I'll share it in the private chat. Please send it
Mhm.
to the audience. Can I send it directly or
Yeah,
not?
Yes, yes, perfect.
Oh, join
and
the
I will
chat. I didn't
send
join.
it in the call. Oh no, Sandra, I have to send it. Okay, and she did it
She
already.
did.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay. So this is like a guidance from Microsoft on how to choose a lakehouse or a warehouse, the differences between the two, and when we should use it, like based on your use case.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing. Okay, now
Thank you.
I get slowly coming to
Oh.
the end.
Maybe there's another question.
But maybe that's another
But
one.
no, not right now.
We have a little bit time to answer another question, so feel free if you have another question, paste it in the comments. And in the meantime, we have another Geek Girl to announce because our
For
next Geek
April.
Girl session is coming soon in April after our trip to America. And it's another German speaker, so we will switch to German again in April. And hopefully, we have our visual heading back to the studio. Yes, we
Yeah.
have our visual. Thank you, Studio Sandra. um, Tanya, we have maybe some of the audience already know her. Um, well, attending us in April, and she have a huge topic also in her bag, and it's about
Yes.
SharePoint. I think, Anya, you are
Finally,
very
a
happy
SharePoint
about this
session.
topic.
After I think 2 or 3 years, it's a SharePoint session. Yes, but
Yay!
big news and big things are coming up this year, so it's a good year to talk about SharePoint.
So this will be our next guest. We are very happy that she will attend us. And Anya, let's talk about yeah, on which conferences the attendees
Oh,
will or can meet us. I
Yeah,
think if they are MVPs, then they can meet us next week in Redmond in the Microsoft headquarters. I think we are both very, very curious and excited about our first time in Seattle in Redmond, seeing the Microsoft headquarters. So yeah, it's for us the biggest MVP conference,
it is. But
and
we are
we will.
only participants. I have no
Yes, we
sessions.
are not speaker, but we can listen to a lot of product engineers and get a lot of insights about what's coming next. Everything under NDA, but we are very excited, I think. And I think until the next Geek Girl session, I will not attending any
I will.
other. You
I will.
will tell
I
us.
have to look the date up because I was curious when is it. I attend the Expert Life Germany in Leipzig
Oh,
this year, and it's on the 11th of April, so a few days before our Geek Girls session. And I will talk there about external users and teams and Entra ID and what to think about and have in mind if you are an admin.
Teams and Entra ID, maybe you have this week another session about Teams. Oh, Teams and Lifecycle, not
Yes,
Teams
yes,
and Entra
the
ID.
teams and governance. Yes, I have two things this week. Yes, thank you for keeping that in my mind.
You're
On
welcome.
Thursday, I have two sessions in one day. In the morning at 11 a.m. on LinkedIn Live and YouTube too from our Skylink account. I will talk about governance in teams and also about external users, but not only about external users. It's also about the team's life cycle process and how to keep it going. And
Also
in
to keep
the
it clean, or?
yes. And in the evening, I talk about a co-pilot in meetings in the Golem podcast on YouTube.
Oh, very, very nice. In
Yes.
Golem, I think it's huge in Germany.
Yeah, yes, it's a huge portal, I think. And I was on the main page today.
Very
Ah.
cool. You're famous.
I'm now famous, Mama.
Okay, and before we're coming to the end, we have another question. So special.
Yay!
So
Can you
to
please put
answer,
it on the screen? Yes. Do you
yeah,
have
so
a guide for naming conventions for fabric?
to answer this, no, we don't have official guidance.
This was a short answer.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just waiting another minute, maybe.
Alright. Yeah, I will also talk about naming policies for teams on Tuesday.
I think there are all recommendations in Teams
A lot of
for naming.
recommendations, yes. But yes, I think about 6 or 7 years right now to learn a lot about teams and what to do and what to not to do.
Okay, so I don't think another question is coming to the comments, so we can slowly come. I speak very slow, maybe.
Yeah, because we are 20 seconds in front of our audience, so
Uh,
Feel free to reach out on LinkedIn if you have more questions.
yeah, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
that.
much.
And
Enjoy
as
the
we,
fabrics, the MVP summit.
Yeah, thank
yeah, we
you.
are very excited. Thank you. So, as we told you before, Sally, you will have our closing words. So, Anya, we have to say goodbye now. It was our first English Geek Quiz live stream ever, and I think we did a good job. It was
You
okay.
did. Yeah, it was
Thank
fine.
you.
Thank you.
It was it's also not so easy for us to talk in English and to talk a whole hour in English and about topics we're not very deep into. So it was a challenge for me,
It was
but
a first for us.
You
I
are
think it was
good.
a
Don't worry.
challenge, but we did it. So next month, it's in our mother tongue. It's
Yeah.
in German again. But we are very happy that we did this challenge in English today. So we had the chance to meet you, Sally. So a huge
Thank you.
thank you that you give us insights today about Fabric and your very deep experience in this topic. So huge thank you, and I knew we are going in the
Yeah, to
background.
say
And
goodbye.
Thank you.
Goodbye
bye.
for
Bye.
now.
Thank
See you
you
next
for
month.
watching. And
Bye
Sally,
bye.
feel
Thank you,
free
Sally.
to
Thank
have
you.
you the
Bye.
final words.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for having me. Good night.